Good morning. How are you all? Welcome from beautiful Brisbane. The wind's died down a bit, so it's a great day today. If you're here live, hit me up and say g'day. And if you're here for the replay, do a hashtag replay. I always love to connect with you. For those who are new, my name's Linda, and I head up our beautiful family in here in our group, brain fade today, and we all connect and encourage and laugh because we are from a lot of different nations around the world, and it's a wonderful thing, and all are welcome. So today I wanted to begin a little mini series on how to trust after trauma. Now, one of the most important things along the way for me has been understanding what's happening in my brain, because then I'm able to understand why the situation is happening today that's happening. And, it comes down to us first. We have to learn to trust us first, and we need the information on how to go about that. So after we've experienced trauma, and it doesn't matter what type of trauma it is, and trauma affects everybody individually. You don't have to go far in reading any material on trauma, and you will find out that it affects everybody individually. So in our brain centre, our thinking and emotional centres are underactive. So after the trauma, they become underactive, and our fear centre is overactive. So certainly after trauma, and if you've experienced abuse personally in any form, that you'll notice that the fear is overactive, because there can just be a noise and you're overreacting. You jump up and down, or the feeling because you're living it. Our memory can be less than helpful, and our concentration and attention span not what it was at all, okay? Because remember, your thinking and emotional centres are underactive. I know when I came out of my last relationship, it was a marriage, I had nothing, no cognitive function. So rebuilding all of this was a big challenge, and the reason why I laughed at our memory can be less than helpful, because it's true. I'd do things like take the kids through the McDonald's drive-through, and I'd have to get them to say their order one by one, and because I couldn't remember that minute amount of information. Whereas today, many years later, and some good consistent work, I'm able to get them to give me my order, give me the order that they want, and I can repeat it all at once. So I tell you this to encourage you that it absolutely is possible to come out of trauma brain and retrain every part of you and get back what we feel was taken from us, and due to the circumstances in our lives. Now, in order to do this, in order to become more aware of what's happening at a brain level, if you like, we need to become aware when our heart rate goes up. When you can't just let go. How many people after a relationship breakup have you had say to you, just let go, or why can't you just let go? Okay. And I know some of us in group have had that said to us, definitely, and it's been a long drawn out process in order to be able to let go. All right. And for you, there is trauma around that. Your brain's holding on to it and repeating it. And as we go through the steps, the lists, you'll understand it more as well. Our emotional responses are over the top or irrational for the circumstances. So really tune in to the words that you're speaking, okay? Not just the heart rate going up, but it'll be reflective in the words that come out of your mouth. And if you're fortunate enough to have people around you who'll tell you the truth, they'll let you know that you've just overreacted to a set of circumstances that didn't really require it. Fortunately for me, my kids would tell me, they'd say, Mum, what's going on? You know, why? We just asked a simple question and you're going off. And I'm like, oh, okay, I better rethink that. And this is what we do. We sit down and we rethink it. And we've got to be able to be honest and have these reactions. So don't take the information that I give you today and go, oh, I've got to stop doing all that. No, because you want to get that energy out of you, okay? It happens. And you want to be able to learn how to re-experience life, okay? So you can't say, use this information and say, oh, I'm really bad. No, you're not. You're not bad at all. Your brain's responding. It's in fear overdrive and it's going to drive everything that's happening, okay? So when you want to change your brain, it takes effort, it takes repetition and time. Now, the predominant part of this is consistency and commitment to you to have healing. Yesterday I actually got bullied about putting the word healing in my work, but it is a healing process. We do get better. We become more well. So when you've got that commitment to yourself that, damn it, no matter, or I know this trauma has happened, my trauma took my whole life away from me and it was compounded over many years, the trauma. But the final nail in the coffin was nearly literally a nail in my coffin. I lost everything because I no longer felt safe and my brain just, for want of a better word, shut down. So I lost, medical mismanagement played a big role. So in incorrectly medicating me, they stripped everything from me. But I only share this to say we can rebuild. So I couldn't walk, couldn't talk, needed a full-time carer, which everything that involved. And now I'm here talking and I can walk. And my memory, like, if I can explain to you that with the trauma, it shuts down our vocabulary as well. I mean, as I've done things over the years, my vocabulary centres have reopened. It's like, bang, all of a sudden I get a whole bunch more words to speak. And you really feel it when you become this tuned in to what's happening in your brain and the reactions that you're having. So after the trauma, the dominant mental process happening is from the trauma experience, okay? So I'll just read this and I'm going to post this article down below, okay, because it's super important to give you an even broader picture of what's happening for the brain. Now, this is happening in the limbic system in your brain. So the key consequence of trauma is that it overrides the original primary play and rewrites it. So that what that's saying in our day-to-day language is before the trauma, we had what is normal for us, our thoughts and emotions in everyday life. After the trauma, the trauma overwrites what's the normal for us as an individual, okay? And it is the dominant mental process that happens in our life. And we want to become aware of that, okay? In doing so, the overwhelming, violating abuse of the traumatic story generates a new and darker narrative. So think the fear is in override, which is mapped neurally with serotonin, cortisol, and adrenaline, okay? So when that's happening in your brain, it's easy for us to say, I've got no control, but that's not the truth. We can get back to having our life. We can get back to living without fear. I'm at the point where, yes, my brain gets triggered at times. And look, our brain's a funny thing. It even can get triggered when I'm happy. Okay, and it goes back into be safe, be safe. But that's a whole other chat show. So what we want to do in order to rewrite and overwrite that dominant mental process that's been formed from the abuse is to become aware of when our feelings, our thoughts, our body, our emotions. So remember, we've got, especially with anxiety, we've got to become aware when our body gets tense, okay? And if you experience childhood trauma, then you're going to be very aware that you never had a chance to form your own process, okay? I'm going to leave that with you today because that's enough information for today, but we are going to have a part 2 on how we get in and handle all this at a heart level for us, how we as individuals reclaim trust in our lives, okay? I hope that's been helpful today. Any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down below. And for those who watch the replay on YouTube, hit subscribe to know when the next one's out if it interests you. And thanks all for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.